In a federal courtroom in Manhattan, the carefully crafted image of Sean Diddy Combs is unraveling, one devastating testimony at a time. Once celebrated as an icon of music, fashion, and entrepreneurship, Diddy now faces charges that could end not only his career, but his freedom. The accusations are grave: racketeering, sex trafficking, and the illegal transportation of individuals across state lines for prostitution. Crimes that, if proven, could lock him away for life. But behind the cold legal language lies a much darker, deeply disturbing story. And in these first days of the trial, the details have already left the courtroom and the world shocked and horrified. The prosecution wasted no time. They opened their case with a brutal reminder of what's at stake. Surveillance footage from the Intercontinental Hotel, captured in 2016, showing Diddy violently assaulting his then-girlfriend, singer Cassie Ventura. The silence in the courtroom was heavy as the footage played. Diddy could be seen dragging Cassie, his hands turned to weapons, his rage unchecked. The words of the first witness, a hotel security guard, added another layer of horror to the visual evidence. He testified that Diddy not only screamed at Cassie, demanding she not leave, but also attempted to bribe him into silence, an offer he claimed to have refused. Yet Diddy's defense team pushed back, highlighting inconsistencies between the guard's testimony and his initial written report. They argued that any money offered was to cover hotel damages, not hush money. The clash set the tone for what has become one of the most explosive celebrity trials in recent history. Then came the second witness. And if the courtroom thought they had heard the worst, they were wrong. A man identified as Daniel Phillip, an escort who claimed he worked for both Cassie and Diddy, took the stand and delivered testimony that many in the room struggled to process. Phillip described what Diddy allegedly called freak-off sessions, disturbing private encounters where Cassie was instructed to engage in sexual acts with strangers while Diddy watched, often hiding in a corner, sometimes masked, always recording. According to Daniel, these sessions were not only graphic, but also dangerous. He claimed they often lasted up to 10 hours, sometimes spanning multiple days, with little regard for safety or consent. Condoms, he said, were rarely used. Drugs and alcohol flowed freely. One of the most unsettling moments came when Cassie allegedly instructed him to urinate on her at Diddy's request. Daniel also testified to moments of violence, recalling seeing Diddy throw a glass bottle at Cassie, drag her by the hair, and assault her behind closed doors, while Daniel, paralyzed by fear, remained silent. His testimony was so graphic that even Diddy's daughters, present in the courtroom, had to leave. But it was Cassie Ventura herself who delivered the most emotionally charged moment of the trial. Standing on the same witness stand where her former abuser once sat proudly beside her at red carpets, Cassie broke down in tears as she recounted their 10-year relationship. A relationship, she said, that began when she was only 19 and quickly descended into a decade of control, violence, and humiliation. She described how Diddy, more than 15 years her senior, used his power as both her mentor and label executive to manipulate and coerce her into a world she never imagined, one of drugs, exploitation, and psychological torment. According to Cassie, Diddy introduced her to drugs like ecstasy, mushrooms, and cocaine, substances she claimed she was given before participating in the so-called freak-off sessions. She admitted that at times she recruited and paid the escorts, but only because Diddy commanded it. She feared his moods, his temper, and above all, his violence. She lived in constant fear, not only of physical abuse, but also of professional destruction. Cassie detailed how Diddy kept blackmail footage of her, further trapping her in his web of control. And she wasn't the only one. Cassie testified that Diddy's entire staff was complicit. Travel agents arranging flights for prostitutes, bodyguards enforcing his rules, and employees providing drugs. This, prosecutors argue, is the very foundation of the criminal enterprise Diddy is now accused of running. In the days leading up to the trial, R&B singer Al B. Sure made a startling public claim. In an interview, he alleged that Diddy was behind the medical crisis that almost took his life in 2022, when he fell into a coma and suffered multiple organ failure. He believes it was an orchestrated attempt on his life to silence him, and he is now preparing to tell his story in an upcoming memoir titled, "Do You Believe Me Now?" He also insinuated that Diddy may have been involved in the mysterious death of Kim Porter, Diddy's former partner, who was reported to have died of pneumonia. Many, including Al B. Sure, have long questioned the official story. As these testimonies pile up, the courtroom has become a theater of shattered images and broken illusions. Diddy's defense team is preparing their cross-examinations, but the damage may already be done in the court of public opinion. Cassie's tearful testimony, the escort's harrowing account, and the swirling accusations of violence and manipulation have painted a picture of a man who, behind the music and luxury, may have been hiding one of the industry's darkest secrets. For now, Diddy's fate rests in the hands of the court. But as the testimonies continue, one thing is clear. This trial has already changed everything.